So, here's what I'm thinking. My idea is to do the opposite of what was done the last time.
Are you referring to the concept of cheap and delicious food?
Yes, I'm thinking that we should do the complete opposite this time. We should do some high-end side dishes.
High-end? For side dishes? Like broccoli or fries or something? Would people even go for that?
No, think more like high-end foie gras mashed potatoes, baked cauliflower with truffle shavings, things like that. By paying a little more than you would for an entree, you get a much higher quality food choice with smaller choices. A lot of people are worried about their diet, so they can get smaller portions while still enjoying themselves.
Go on.
Hear me out for a bit. No matter how tough the economy is, luxury items are unaffected by it, right? They're always in demand.
That's right. On the contrary, people see it as an opportunity to buy even more.
Yes! Let's use that strategy for side dishes as well.
Will that be effective for side dishes?
I think it will. Think about it. Would you rather pay for a lot of one food that may or may not be good, or pay a little more to eat something luxurious? I think we should go with that kind of an idea.
That's a fresh take. Please go on and elaborate.
I would really like to get an investment from you, Mr. CEO. So I've been staying up all night for 2 weeks planning the recipes.
Well, with the way you're considering the stock so much, your ambition is very apparent.
I'm just passionate about the work we do here. Let's set the concept as something that's not a side dish, but something that highlights the art of cooking, a meal, a luxury product. The first recipe that I have come up with is crispy organic asparagus wrapped in baked pancetta. Small portion, but huge flavors.
Wow, that does sound quite delicious.
Yes, that's an excellent start to the menu. Samantha, are you aiming for a director position with this project now?
You're quite a comedian, sir.
And then we can also make vegetable crepes with edible gold dust.
Great. It's also important that the food is visually pleasing. Play with colors like green and brown, and make sure everything looks vibrant and high quality.
Yes, that's exactly right. And then I think we should go for some Mediterranean food options. So I'm thinking that we follow it up with some more vegetables and different kinds of rare cheeses. That coupled with grilled mussels and octopus seasoned with soy sauce? Maybe in a gratin? I'm still playing with the idea.
Grilled mussels and octopus gratin, you say? What a fresh idea. Mediterranean food is a great choice. It's healthy, but at the same time exotic enough where people don't usually get the chance to eat it in their normal lives.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's what I had in mind when I was coming up with the idea.
Oh, wow. This sounds like a menu that even our neighborhood Michelin star restaurants have probably never seen before. Quite a novel idea.
Yeah, I guess so. Thanks.
And that's saying something. They actually offer a lot of variety, too.
Yeah, the idea is to go with dishes that aren't available at the local stores. That way we can offer something unique to the customers.
Is that it? Are there more items on the menu?
That's not the end of it. I also have a rough idea for a ceviche dish. We can spruce it up by adding in some caviar.
Oh, I've never seen anyone do that before.
I know! I'm trying to combine things I know no other restaurant has done yet.
I love ceviche, so I'm totally in.
That's great. Even if this is priced high, parents will still buy it as a snack for their kids. At least in households that are more well-off, they will.
That's great. The menu is actually pretty good.
Now I want to present to you both the hottest item, the real highlight of the menu I've created. Truffle cheesesteak toast. It's a more high-end spin-off of the classic dish from Philadelphia.
Oh, cheesy foods tend to be very popular.
Yes, we will go with mozzarella. So like this, we'll keep 10 dishes in rotation every day. I'm thinking that we make it available through a delivery service app.
By the way, about the ceviche you mentioned, why not add abalone to it too? That will bring the price up much higher and add an extra layer of luxury.
Oh, that's a great idea, sir.
Thanks to you, I feel like I'm leveling up a bit in terms of innovation.
Could you organize the lineup you've come up with and send it all to me in an email?
Sure, I'll get on that as soon as possible.
Also, we have to decide on who we're going to appoint as the face of our advertisement. Will your husband's schedule work out so that he'll be able to work on this project?
Please contact my husband directly if you have any inquiries for him.
Wow, our company really supports you a lot, doesn't it?
And I'm very thankful for that, sir.
Honey, what are you doing?
Huh? What do you mean? I'm researching recipes. What else would I be doing at this hour?
Do you really have to do that right now?
Why? What's the matter?
Downstairs, my mom keeps complaining that she can't rest because of the sound of running water from the cooking you're doing. She's in the middle of watching a drama right now.
There's no need to stress the fact that it's evening right now. It's obviously not morning. And if she's complaining about the sound of water at this hour, isn't that just a roundabout way of her telling me not to work right now?
Can't you wrap all of this up a bit earlier?
Darling, I finished eating, clearing the table, and doing the dishes downstairs 20 minutes ago.
Why are you doing this now when you could have done it in the middle of the day?
I have client meetings to attend during the day. How would I have time to do this?
Ugh, you're so frickin' annoying.
What? Why are you being like this?
Either get a separate workspace that you can go to or move out of here. This is a home, after all. Aren't homes for resting? You shouldn't be disturbing other people's rest with your work.
You're acting like it's past midnight already. It's barely 9 o'clock.
Don't you know that all people usually go to bed at 9?
Good grief. They say one nail drives out another.
What? What are you talking about? What nail?
Honey, I'm sorry that it's come to a point where I have to say this, but this is my house too.
So what?
What do you mean, so what? This is my house and I have all the rights to do my work here.
Why are you making a fuss right now?
What? A fuss? How could you say that? I just want to be able to do my job in the comfort of my own home, not be dictated by the time constraints of someone who's not even supposed to be living here.
Is this your way of getting back at me because I wasn't the one who found this house?
What are you talking about? When have I ever given you that impression?
You're the one who said not to get a place when we got married. You said you would take care of getting a house all by yourself.
Yes, you're right. I did say that. And what about it? What are you trying to get at?
Then don't you think you're being a bit hypocritical saying it's your house now?
What do you mean hypocritical? If you have something to say, you should say it right away. How does what you are saying have anything to do with what's happening right now?
To me, it sounds like you are telling me to shut up because I didn't get us a house.
I was building a house right at that time, and I admit that it was me who suggested we move in there. But never once was there any talk of living together with your whole family.
Well, that's just how it is when you live life.
This is my house. Now tell me who all live on the first floor.
Huh? Who lives on the floor below?
Your father, your mother, your brother. There's 3 of them living here.
That's right. So what?
That's right. My bedroom and my kitchen I used to work in are downstairs. And now I've been driven out to the 2nd floor. We are using the office room that I used to shoot my YouTube videos in as our bedroom now.
Then do you want the elderly to use the 2nd floor? How are they supposed to climb the stairs all the time?
I had to add another sink on the 2nd floor because of your parents. That was 7 months ago.
It's only because of the renovation they're doing in my parents' apartment, all right?
Your parents are renovating their apartment, and in turn it has majorly affected my own life. Because of their renovation, I had to get another kitchen in my house and move up to the 2nd floor. Does that make any sense to you?
Anyways, now that we are living together, wouldn't it be nice if we could be considerate of each other?
That would be nice indeed. But you're telling me they're still in the middle of renovating?
About that.
Of course they aren't. Isn't that right? They started 10 months ago. They said they'd stay in my house for just a month while the work was being done. But now it's been 10 months. Renovations don't take that long.
Why are you bringing this up now? You're just trying to pick a fight at this point. You should have just put a stop to it right from the beginning. Why are you being like this?
What do you mean? Why am I being like this? They just kind of settled in, didn't they? And that's why I ended up having to put a new kitchen on the second floor.
Exactly, that's what I was getting at. If it was going to be such an issue, you should have said no to them right from the start.
They asked to stay for just a month. And if I had refused, I would have been painted as completely disrespectful. But that's not what matters right now. That's not the point I was making. There's something else that's a bit more pressing.
Well, what's the issue then? I don't see any other problems.
Before your parents moved in, I was up until the early hours, up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, in the kitchen working on recipes. That's my job. That's how I make a living. I was earning the money that put food on the table for your parents and your brother.
What? Why would you talk like that?
Did you think I wouldn't go this far? In these 10 months, have your family members contributed even a penny towards living expenses?
That's far from the point.
While the 3 of them have been living here, they haven't chipped in a single penny. Do you think this is a normal way to live?
Well, what does that matter? You earn a lot of money, don't you? It's not like it's really making a dent in your income at all.
Are you saying they don't have to contribute just because I earn a lot?
Well, I make money too. You're speaking as if you're the only one paying for all their stuff.
Oh, of course you earn money. You earn money that's only spent on your shoes and clothes. Money that goes solely towards your own appearance. And you don't make enough to cover more than what you spend on yourself.
Hey, you make an insanely good amount of money, it's jaw-dropping. So do I really have to cover even the living expenses?
Then what about your family?
And what good would it do to charge my family a few $100s each month for living expenses?
I'm not talking about money right now. I'm talking about consideration and sincerity. Just the basics.
So are you saying that my parents don't even meet your basic standards?
No, as a matter of fact, they don't show me any respect at all. And for a while now, this place hasn't felt like my home. Go downstairs and take a good look for yourself. It's almost 100% filled with your family's stuff. Is this even normal? They completely took over without even asking if it was all right or if they were impeding in any way. And it hasn't even been 4 months since even your younger brother joined us after living separately in his own small studio apartment. He's old enough to live on his own without anyone else's help. What excuse does he have for settling in at his brother and sister-in-law's place?
What would you have even done if I hadn't come up to the second floor?
Huh? What does that mean?
You're speaking with such resolution. How long were you keeping all of this inside? You can't have come up with all of this just now.
You're the one who came to nitpick at me first. You complained that I was too noisy and was getting in the way of your parents watching TV. You wanted me to get a studio and move out. Is that a kind of request you can even make to your wife at that?
Well, of course it is. Everything I said is reasonable. Like I mentioned, you're supposed to rest at home. You're disturbing the peace of the rest of your family.
That sounds pretty ridiculous and doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't it be better for your family to just go back to their own home? The renovation must have been finished a long time ago.
That's so inconsiderate. They're my parents and they're elderly. Being right next to the tunnel means there's a lot of car noise and fumes. And not to mention, being on the second floor makes it even worse. The air is nice here. Just let the elderly live peacefully in this good environment.
Well, despite the unfairness of the situation, honestly, I would do that. That is, if they let me be and didn't complain about me doing my work at night in my own home.
So are you saying they have to keep their mouths shut while living in their son's home? All right then, fine. Let's end this here. I'll see myself out.
What an idiot. A complete idiot. He's not even trying to understand my point of view. Honey, I have something that I need to show you.
Yes? What is it?
Your mom is really funny.
Funny? What about her? Did she say anything, out of the ordinary to you? What's going on?
Huh? That's not it. It's just that your mom's underwear is bright red and lacy. Look at this.
Huh? What are you talking about?
There was a pile of towels ready to go in the washing machine, so I grabbed them as I was about to do the laundry. And stuck right in the middle of them was your mom's red underwear. It's a bit of a risque choice. Red and lacy at her age.
Well, that's just how it is, you know.
It seems like she and your dad are still getting along quite well. What is that smell? I can't stand it.
What smell, Mom?
That overwhelming fishy smell along with that sour soy sauce smell. It's making the whole house unbearable. Ugh.
Yesterday, I think Samantha mentioned that she was handling squid. She was saying it was for research for her recipe she's making at work.
Isn't proper ventilation a basic requirement when cooking? Huh! You should at least block the passage between the first and second floors. Mrs. Reed, did you sleep well? Hey, you! I need to have a word with you.
Yes, what is it?
Don't you turn on a fan and ventilate the room while you're cooking. I did turn on the exhaust fan and ventilate. The whole downstairs smells like fish and soy sauce. It's unbearable! Well, there could be a little bit of a smell left. There's nothing I can do about that. How many times have I told you to install a door? I really hate the smell of food. Why should I put up a door? Maybe you should go back to your house since you find the food smell here so unbearable. That way, I'd finally be able to move freely around the house. What did you just say? I'm just saying that I have the right to do the repairs in my house as I see fit. By the way, don't you wash your hair in the morning when you wake up? Huh? Why do you mention that? Your hair reeks of squid. I was trying to cook something last night, so I'm planning to wash my hair before heading out later. You go upstairs and eat by yourself. I'll set the table and take care of the cleaning up here. Why is that? The smell of your hair disgusts me. Ugh, why do I hate the smell of cooked squid so much? Quick, move it! Go upstairs, back to the second floor. No, Mrs. Reed. This is my kitchen, and all the ingredients I need for cooking are in this fridge. Do you mind stepping out of the kitchen for a moment? I just need to stir the vegetables that I had set aside to pickle for a while. What kind of place is this? It feels less like a home and more like a restaurant. It's really ridiculous. Even when you moved in saying you'd stay for just a month, I was cooking all the time.
Ugh, the side dishes are just gross.
Why? What's wrong, dear?
Plain Brussels sprouts with this weird sauce.
The family has issues with obesity, so I'm specifically changing the menu these days.
Even so, plain vegetables is crossing the line a little bit. Boring.
Even Mr. Reed and Robert had their meals without any fuss and went to work. They're trying to manage their weight.
I don't like sauces like this. It's not even mayonnaise. I can handle mayonnaise, but this is some type of knockoff version of mayo. It's all sour and grainy.
If you don't like it, try this freshly mixed broccoli. I've soaked it in onion juice and vinaigrette.
This is really frustrating. Mom, I can't eat a meal without meat. It's not like I'm a rabbit. A meal without any protein isn't even a meal.
You really are something. You go outside and enjoy all sorts of delicacies all the time. You eat all that fancy food with your coworkers under the guise of research. But you don't think about the nutrition of the people at home. Be considerate, for goodness sake.
Mrs. Reed, there are 13 different vegetable dishes. I made them with nutrition in mind. Even just eating the mushrooms will do you good. There's protein in the form of spinach and eggs, too. Even if there's no red meat.
Is it enough if only you go outside and eat well all by yourself? If you stop eating meat outside, then I'll acknowledge the new leaf you've turned over when it comes to cooking, hun.
Brad, why are you talking to me like that? Calling me hun? You're being a bit condescending.
I'm just asking you to put some thought into the side dishes.
Are 13 side dishes not enough for you? We have spinach stir-fry, a homegrown side salad, and scrambled eggs, too.
I'm talking about meat.
It's just that there wasn't any meat for this one breakfast. But each meal you have every day is practically a meat buffet. Isn't that enough for you?
You're just not getting it. I'm asking for meat right now. Why are you keeping all that meat in the fridge and not serving it?
There's not a single thing that you do on your own, yet you're so bold in your demands.
Why shouldn't I be able to make demands?
All right then, how about this? You're 30 now, so go out and enjoy your meat while working, because it's not coming into the house.
What are you saying? Are you implying that I'm unemployed? Are you looking down on me?
That's right. You are unemployed.
Honestly, the way you speak is unbelievable. No wonder my brother is looking elsewhere. I can't even believe that he dealt with someone like you for so long.
Huh? Robert is looking elsewhere? What do you mean by that?
Nothing. Since I am unemployed, I should only be grateful to eat 13 different vegetables, right? Yep.
These provoking comments are really getting on my nerves. What a character. Ugh. But my brother is looking elsewhere? What does he mean by that? I'm sorry. I have had a lot to prepare because of the listing.
Right? It's nice when everyone gets along comfortably.
Your family would be more comfortable if I weren't around, wouldn't they? I'll come in at least once a week.
What do you think I am, a child? I even have my mom and family around me.
Well, what about your meals? The dishes that I developed as a part of your weight loss regimen.
Enough with the food. Mom will take care of everything when you aren't here. You can just drop by once a week.
Is that so? How convenient.
Work is what matters right now. Is home more important? Growing your company is what counts. In a way, looking back, you've really worked hard to get to this point. You shouldn't risk abandoning all of that just for your in-laws. You've come so far and you're putting your heart and soul into this new project.
Yeah, you really helped too. It all started when you began your career as a salesman.
Do you remember when I sold out your caramel and cheese popcorn?
Of course. It's been 5 years already. I'm really sorry for everything I've done to you.
What do you mean? What did you do to me?
Because I was busy with work, I feel like I've really been neglecting you a bit.
Once your company goes public, that'll be it. You'll have made your big break, and you can manage your work-life balance a bit better and spend more time with me. Don't worry.
Do you really think so?
Of course. You'll be happy for me when I do well too, right?
Of course I will.
That's how I feel too. I'm always rooting for you. I just want what's best for you. And if that means that I have to sacrifice some of the time we spend together, then so be it. Your company needs to grow so that I can make a place for myself there and earn some money of my own so I don't have to be stuck with you anymore. I can't just keep living my life as a salesman, desperately selling stuff that doesn't sell.
But the money they're using, it's from my bank account, isn't it?
Is that your account?
I mean, if you really want to get technical about it, it is a joint account, of course, but I'm the one who makes most of the deposits.
So what? That doesn't negate the fact that I contribute as well. As a married couple, you shouldn't nitpick things like this. What's mine is yours and what's yours is mine.
I agree to some extent. As my husband, you're free to use the money. But why does everyone in the family spend the money from the account?
It's not for anything else. It's just for living expenses, right?
What kind of living expenses could amount to $15,000 in just 3 months?
It's probably related to their old place. Since it's a house in the countryside, I guess managing it isn't easy for them.
What kind of managing are they doing that could possibly cost $15,000?
Well, loads of things. There are trees and plants that need to be taken care of too.
No, this won't work. I need to go over there and ask them about it.
What would you even ask them?
Then do you want me to just let this slide? In 2 months, way too much money has vanished in the name of living expenses.
Honey, there's $115,000 in our joint account, and you're getting this worked up over a measly $15,000?
Whether it's $15,000 or $15, why are the family members dipping into our joint account? What is this, a family joint account?
You have started to get so worked up once you left.
What do you mean, once I left? Where did I go? I'm still right here.
Well, you moved out of the house, right?
Oh, I see. So you think I left home. And so that's why you moved my dressing table with all of my accessories to the living room without saying anything. Along with all my clothes from the master bedroom closet to a wardrobe. And I saw a pair of women's underwear that wasn't mine under the bed. I don't wear panties as skimpy as those.
Huh? That wasn't me. No, you're the one who's moving things around and is flustered trying to organize everything right now. Since you're going back and forth from here to your new place.
I definitely have to put my foot down. You have to tell your parents and your brother to not dip their hands into our joint account. And that they have to move out before the end of this year. I'm going to put this house on the market. So they better get on finding a new place for themselves quickly.
What did you just say? You're selling the house? Out of the blue?
It seems that unless I take matters regarding this house into my own hands, your family might think of it as their own home. I see no other choice. No matter how much I say anything, no one is listening. I need to take some sort of drastic action. I'm going to put this house up for sale and look for a place next to my workplace. It's close to your office too, so don't worry.
Seriously, you own one house and you are making such a big deal out of it. Do as you please.
Sir. Is that so?
If you put it in the promotional category, it should definitely help, don't you think? Carla suggested this to me, and I thought it was a decent idea, so I was just wondering what you thought.
Then should I also pass some YouTube videos along for her to use? There are a lot of close-up shots. I filmed all of them at home, so they should have more of an authentic vibe to them. They're all tutorial style.
Carla said that videos with observation cameras would be interesting.
I also have the security camera footage of me doing the cooking.
Huh, is that so?
I thought it would be cool to have different kinds of shots. The security camera footage is always on, so I figured it could be an establishing shot of the whole workspace. I also filmed it in the style of an observation camera.
In the workroom where you did the research, too?
Yes, I thought it would be interesting.
How unique. It definitely sounds interesting.
Perfect. Then I'll send you all the footage after I comb through it once.
Sure. After you are done, just send it over to Carla via email. I'm sorry for giving you a call at this late hour. I know you've been working overtime on this project, so I hate to push you even further outside of work hours.
Oh no, I'm the one who's grateful for this opportunity.
We need to step up our game before the public listing, right?
Huh? What's this? Isn't this Carla? Why is she rolling around in my bed naked with that idiot? That tramp! She is digging her own grave. She rolled into her own den of death and now she is asking for the video. These people are really getting on my nerves. That too in my own house. The audacity! They won't know what's coming.
I still don't understand what the CEO meant.
Don't get into any misunderstandings just because you don't understand what he told you.
I helped you from the moment you put one portion of the stir-fried octopus into the container.
And I do feel grateful for that.
The staff in the HR office said that me not receiving my severance pay and getting kicked out was because of you. What did you do? Why would you try to sabotage me when all I did was help you?
I really can't understand you.
What do you mean?
What I mean is that you're sitting right in front of me now and saying you don't understand the situation with an innocent look on your face.
Why can't I sit here? What's so odd about that?
Let me just ask you this one thing.
What is it?
Do you have any bit of a conscience? You've just been fired for your actions. How are you still able to sit in front of me with your head held high?
My conscience? Why would you say that?
You requested a video from me. The one that was supposed to be part of the promotional material for our luxury cooking project.
I did, yes. And what about that?
You're working your way towards digging your own grave.
What exactly did I do wrong? Just say it to my face instead of beating around the bush like this.
What you did with my husband in my room was clearly caught on video.
You're lying.
Why do you think it's a lie?
If there had been a camera in the room, I would have known.
So you confess? You're so pathetic.
You know that if you set up something like a hidden camera, you'll face legal consequences, right?
Look, that's actually my room. Is it a problem that I installed a camera in my own room? Anyway, I emailed the video to you, so if you're curious, you can check it out. I CC'd the CEO.
Excuse me? You emailed me the video?
And there's one more thing I don't understand. How is it possible that, after more than 3 years of seeing each other's faces for 1 or 2 hours in meetings 3 days a week, you could do that? You did that with my husband. And not to mention, you came all the way to my house and did it in my own room?
So you just sent that video to the CEO?
You bet I did.
Distributing personal videos without consent is also a crime.
You foolish woman. What do you mean distributing personal videos without consent? That video belongs to me. Are you really that dense? And I sent a message to the CEO to get you fired.
There's no way that's true. I contribute so much to our company. There's no way they would let go of me for mere personal reasons.
They shouldn't do that just for personal reasons, right? That's a bit unfair. But what can we do about it? It just so happens that I actually own a significant amount of the stocks of the company. I am a shareholder, you see. And as a major shareholder, I pressured them to have you fired.
What? A shareholder? What money do you have to buy yourself stocks?
Why are you acting like this? How many products have I launched with the company? Didn't you hear them acknowledge my significant contributions and express their appreciation during the meeting?
But you're bringing personal matters into this right before your listing. It would be tough for you if I didn't help you out.
Excuse me, but it seems you're under the impression that your abilities are exceptional. I'm confident I can make this project successful, even with any manager that's under you.
What did you say?
The truth is, you're really nothing. Nothing? What do you mean, nothing? You are nothing. If you were worth anything, you wouldn't have been fired. Your termination speaks for itself. But the severance pay! My entire life's worth of work! The reason you haven't received your severance pay is that I've placed a lien on it. I've also put a lien on the shares you own. You won't be able to find them. They'll just vanish into thin air. Then my severance pay, the company I dedicated 17 years of my life to, will be nothing! That's your problem. With the company's CEO so eager to work with me, do you think it's wise to provoke the feelings of a major shareholder like myself? Huh. You used to just do whatever you were told, but now you've become so cold and cruel. You've really grown quite a lot. I have. It was also me who insisted on your firing. I also sent the email to all the execs in the food business. I really have grown up quite a lot. I used to think that you were really someone impressive. Pretty bright and a kind person. So all this? Do you really think that you doing all of this will make me feel like I have nowhere to go? My skills are well recognized in the industry. Do you really think I won't find work elsewhere? Do you know how much my stock value is rising right now? Everyone is clamoring to work with me. This time you'll see whose stock value goes higher. Mine or yours. Just wait and see. It'll become real clear.
Oh my! How could you mistreat your husband after 4 years of being together? How can this be? How can you be so cruel and unjust?
Excuse me? How can you treat a woman who has been your daughter-in-law for 4 years like this? Especially as a fellow woman.
What did I do? This situation doesn't involve me in the slightest.
What were you doing while this man was rolling around with some woman upstairs?
I didn't know about it. I really didn't know, I'm telling you. Why would someone tell their mother that they're having an affair?
Does it make sense that you didn't know? You live in this home and you barely leave. It seems like he's been coming in and out, and I've been finding underwear everywhere.
Anyway, I seriously didn't know.
If you didn't know, then there's nothing that can be done, I guess. Let's circle back to the money. Why did you all tamper with my account? That's theft. I can report you to the police for something like this.
My son gave me a prepaid card.
Why do you think he gave it to you? With such a large amount of money at that. Even knowing it might create tension between us, since I had already expressed some of my discomfort with you guys freeloading off of us, I'm curious about what made him so willing to hand it over to you. Was it just because he's such a devoted son?
Of course! What other reason could there be?
There is another one. There is actually an even bigger reason. While taking money from my account, you turned a blind eye to your son's mistress, didn't you? And while doing that, you made sure to take care of your son's interests.
Well, no. That's not true.
Somehow, while wearing the mask of a human...
How could I stop them when they seem to enjoy it?
Oh, so just because the two of them enjoy it, you would just let them come and go freely upstairs? Do you have no morals or conscience? And that too in my own house. I paid for this whole house and I support your son and your whole family. You're a woman too. How could you betray your daughter-in-law like this?
Hey, take it up with me. Don't act this way with my mom.
Oh, you devoted son. You're chiming in only now.
What's that document you're holding?
You can see what it is, can't you?
And you're sending this to my company?
It won't make much of a difference if you get fired from your company. You're struggling to sell those items that just won't sell at all.
What did you say? What the heck?
Why are you trying to hit me? You've lived well for 4 years thanks to me. You shouldn't have any regrets or lingering feelings.
Why are you even contacting my company? What does it have to do with them?
Because all those fake business trips you told them you were on were really just chances to spend time with your mistress.
How could you even do something like that?
You took the words right out of my mouth. By the way, I'm going to bury you in alimony payments. And excuse me, old lady, I have something to say to you as well.
What did you say? Old lady!
I need that $15,000 you spent from that prepaid card and the cost of staying in my house for 10 months. The room rents, the emotional damages you caused while living together, and your complicity in the affair. I've included all of this. I'll be taking legal action. First, it would be wise for you to put the money back in the account immediately if you want to avoid charges for theft and malicious intent.
What? Theft? Why would it be theft when it's my son and daughter-in-law's money?
Who said your son and daughter-in-law's money is your money? Please vacate the house by tonight.
I don't have a house.
Why? The remodeling was finished over a year ago.
I sold that house.
Oh my, you sold that house? I see you did some remodeling just so you would be able to sell it.
I planned on using the money for my retirement.
Oh, that's actually quite a great turn of events. Now you can just give me the money you owe me from your retirement funds. What a simple solution. You should also hire a lawyer.
We don't have anywhere to go right now, the three of us.
You can go to the studio apartment where my brother-in-law, that young man used to live. I rented out a place there to work when you forced me to work outside of my home. But I only rented it. It's not like I'm a part-time worker. I can afford to live somewhere better than that.
What do you mean? How can 3 people live in a 500-square-foot place?
Why are you asking me that? It's none of my business. Figure it out.
Mom, wait a minute. I've heard that the money in the account and the expenses from the last 10 months are calculated as joint property. Asset division is also possible, so don't worry, Mom.
You jerk. Who told you that money from before the marriage is considered joint property? It's excluded from the division.
What do you mean before the marriage?
And you're the one who cheated, leading to the divorce. You're the liable spouse. Anyways, if you don't return the $15,000 immediately, I will pursue charges of theft as well. You're both cornered with no way out.
Is everything she said true? What are we supposed to do now? Ugh, I don't know either. Just shut up for a while. Give me some time to think. Then why don't you go and ask that other woman for the money? Isn't she the one who seduced you?
She's finished too. And how can you pin the affair on her? I would be lucky if she doesn't sue me for being deceived.
What's with the atmosphere in the house? Mom, I'm eating meat today, no matter what. Even if I have to be beaten to death for it. You brat! Shut up before I beat you with a slab of meat!
Still, it seems like the two of them have formed a bond, as those two are huddled together planning legal action. The idea that the two of them came up with during their discussion was that bringing personal matters into the public sphere would pose a problem when carrying out this legal action. However, I discovered multiple car transactions for hotels during work hours and reported them to both companies. This not only showed negligence in their duties, but also resulted in the company seeking damages from them. I demanded the maximum amount of alimony. If they refused, it would result in disciplinary action leading to dismissal. It seems they were destined to be kicked out of the company, regardless of the circumstances. Amidst all the chaos, my company has finally been listed on the stock exchange. Now that there's nothing to hinder me, I plan to devote myself even more to growing the company. That's all for today's story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and leave a thumbs up. And why not leave us a comment in the comment section down below. See you next time!
Oh, Jenny, you're so kind and pretty. You're so different from my Dan, you know?
Oh no, Mom. Dan is a really good person as well.
What's the point in being a good person when you're as thick as two short planks? I was hoping that at least one of my sons would be smart, but they aren't. He's so naive, too. You're going to have problems with him.
Mom, why are you putting me down so much in front of Jenny? You're really excited, aren't you?
Well, maybe you should try to spend your whole life with someone as stupid as you are. I feel so jealous of people with smart children like Jenny here, for example. Your mom must feel a bit disappointed having to marry you off like this.
I'm a great son, Mom, and you know it. I didn't do too badly at school, and I work at a top company now, don't I?
Hooray for you! Don't you remember when you were at school and you used to study while wandering around, and you used to ram into everything? You had a huge bruise right on your forehead that you got when you were trying to memorize your spelling words or something, didn't you? It was so funny when you told me what had happened.
What? Did you really do that, Dan?
Mom, why are you telling old stories like that in front of Jenny?
Do you think that's all that you did? I had such a hard time bringing him up, you know. He was such a klutz, always falling over or bumping into things and getting into trouble.
Mom!
When Jenny first came to meet us before she married Dan, she and I got on very well. She seemed like a really nice, clever girl, and to be honest, I thought that she was too good for my Dan. If I think about that time now, it was probably all lies or acting. But anyway, we didn't have a bad relationship like we do now in the beginning. I was actually looking forward to them getting married so that I'd have another girl to spend time with at long last. I even thought that talking together about Dan, the wedding, and life in general had even made us closer. I never had a daughter, you see, and raising two stupid sons as I did, I felt quite grateful to Jenny in the beginning for talking natural with me and making an effort to get on well with me. I think our relationship started to break down after something that Dan had said to her one day. There's so much to do when you get married, isn't there? The ceremony, the house. It must be really hard for the two of you to sort all of that out.
It's not hard. It's our wedding after all. I actually quite enjoy it, to be honest.
Even so, it must be hard work getting it all done. There's just so much you have to organize to get married these days. It's not like it used to be, not one bit. The two of you are working full-time as well. Isn't it difficult finding the time to get everything done?
I guess it's a bit hard for me, but Jen is really enjoying it. She went on a tour of at least 15 shops to find her wedding dress. I don't understand how she doesn't even seem to get tired by it all. She's changed her mind about the wedding venue countless times already, too. She's being so fussy and such a perfectionist about it all. I never realized she was as bad as this. This place is prettier, that place is prettier. The food is better here. Ugh, it just makes me so tired thinking about it all.
A wedding ceremony is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Of course, it's difficult to decide what would be best. I don't know what you think is so hard. Girls especially have fantasies about what they want their wedding to be like. Some start dreaming about it when they are kids and have an idea of exactly what they want. You just have to make it how she wants it, that's all. You want it to live up to all of her expectations, even if you aren't too bothered about what it's like. Things like that are really important to girls, you know.
Well, as long as the price is right, I don't care what it's like. I'm trying to go along with most of the things that she wants, though.
You stupid boy. Oh, now you mention budgets, there's something I want to talk to you about. I've got some money here that I've got together to help you with the wedding. It's about $50,000 altogether. You can use it towards a house or towards whatever you want, to be honest. It doesn't matter to me how you choose to use it.
You've never said anything about you helping out or giving us anything towards the wedding before. Were you planning to give us this money all along?
Of course I was. My oldest son is getting married. What do you think I do? It's not like I don't have any money or anything.
Don't bother, Mom. It's not like we don't make enough money between us or anything. Jen and I both work at top companies and we make a lot of money. I think we have enough to work out the wedding by ourselves. We can afford to rent a place with the budget we have for the wedding, so I think we'll just start that way. People don't buy houses when they get married these days anyway.
Even so, it's a big expense getting married. So you can sort it all out yourselves without me giving you any money to help out. Are you sure you'll be okay? If I say that I didn't put anything towards my eldest son's wedding, what will Jenny's parents think of me?
Why does that matter? Jen's family aren't planning to contribute at all either, you see? If they aren't going to contribute, it's only right that you don't either, and both families start off on an even keel. That's fair, and that's how Jen wants it to be. She said that seeing as her family can't afford to help out, we should just do it all off our own backs. She doesn't want to have to deal with the arguments about who paid more money for what, and she doesn't want to feel looked down upon because her family paid less for the wedding than we did.
Even so.
Denny's still a student as well, isn't he? Being a student in med school is really expensive, I know it is. How could I take your money for my wedding when I know that Denny needs it a lot more than I do? Why don't you just give it to him to use for his studies instead? You could say that I'm investing in his studies, couldn't you?
You are so ridiculous sometimes. You have never taken an interest in his studies before. I don't know why you'd start now. It's not like I don't have any money or anything. Do you think I would struggle to give you a measly $50,000? I can afford to invest in Denny's studies and give you the money. Who said I couldn't? Why are you worrying about something like that anyway?
Mom, let's just forget it now and move on. I don't want to fall out with you about it. This is what we've decided, so we'd better just stick to it. To be honest, if we increase the budget, we'll have to change everything around again, and I can't be bothered. That's the real reason.
Oh, that's the real reason that you don't want to take my money then, is it? You really are stupid.
We'll just carry on the way that we planned to start with, Mom.
Okay then, if that's what you want. But if you do end up needing it, just let me know and I'll give it to you right away.
Okay, Mom, thanks. Anyway, I know that you really care, even though you pretend that you don't.
Hey, we're back.
Oh, hi, Jenny. Did you have a good honeymoon?
Are you interested in that? What difference does it make to you how our honeymoon is? I doubt you even care, do you?
What? Did something bad happen? Why did you run into the house shouting like that?
I've got something that I want to talk to you about, that's all.
Oh, really? What is it, Jenny? You can tell me.
I heard from Dan that you didn't even put a dime towards our wedding. Dan told me everything, you know. He also says that because you didn't pay anything towards the wedding, that we can't even get our own place and have to live in a rental.
What? I don't understand what you're talking about. Dan, you explain it all to her, will you?
Jenny, I never said anything of the sort. What exactly are you telling Mom right now? Why have you come back here after we had such a great time on our honeymoon, yelling at my mom like this over something that's not even strictly true? I told you that as we can afford to get married and get a rental place ourselves, that there was no need going to ask money from my mom, didn't I? We also agreed not to ask for money from either sets of parents, didn't we? In fact, it was you that decided it.
Even if I did say words to that effect, I never actually believed that you wouldn't contribute anything at all to your eldest son's wedding. If you'd just given us a bit of money, we'd have been able to buy a house, you know. It's your fault that we have to live in a rental because you refuse to help us out.
What on earth is going on here? Hang on a minute. I don't really understand what's happening here, you see. Dan told me that you had enough money and that you decided together that neither family were going to contribute anything to the wedding, so I didn't. I just don't understand what all of this fuss is about all of a sudden.
Are you looking down on us right now because we can't afford to buy a house or something? Even if my parents can't afford to help us out, you can. So you should have, surely.
What did you just say?
I'm right, am I not? The groom's family should contribute $100,000 in the least, shouldn't they? That's just the way it is, aren't I right? It doesn't matter whether or not the bride's family can afford to help. That has nothing to do with anything. I was sure that you'd at least help us with the house or something. I never in my wildest dreams thought that you'd just not give us a dime towards anything. I'm really disappointed in you.
Jenny, you can't just say things like that to my mom.
You're looking down on me. That's what you're doing. I can just feel it. Do you think that because I was acting like a daughter to you that I really am your daughter or something? I'm your daughter-in-law. That's what I am. These days, daughter-in-laws are as good as guests. Did you know that? You aren't treating me like a guest, though, are you, Mom? I guess you don't know how scary daughter-in-laws can be these days, do you? Just because I've been nice to you and we've been getting on well up until now, don't think that that means it will stay like that. You just try me.
What did you just say? Daughter-in-laws are scary. Don't make me laugh.
Why are you laughing? Do you think that I'm joking or something? I'm deadly serious. How dare you laugh at me like that? You really don't know how things are these days, do you? You'll be laughing on the other side of your face when I'm finished with you, so you just watch this space. Don't expect to see me again or to be invited to our place either while I'm at it.
Do your worst.
Excuse me?
I said, do your worst. I'm really curious as to exactly what you're going to do, Jenny.
What am I going to do with the two of you?
I feigned a smile at Jenny's attitude and actions toward me from the minute that they came back from their honeymoon. After I spoke to Dan about it all again, and he assured me that they had decided not to accept money or anything from either family, and that he was as surprised as anyone by that outburst. I don't know if it was because her parents had said something to her, or her friends had said anything to her, but I think she must have heard something strange from somewhere to suddenly start acting like that towards me. Did it make me feel bad? I guess it would be a lie if I said it didn't. But to me it was a pretty insignificant conversation. You see, I'm not the type of person to be like Jenny did this, Dan did that, the kind of thing that most older people seem to enjoy. To me, the conversation was insignificant, but the cheek of my eldest daughter-in-law, telling me that I obviously didn't know how scary daughter-in-laws could be these days, and her actions in general just seemed so petty. I actually felt sorry that she was so caught up in money that she felt like she had to kick up such a fuss over what was, to me, such a small amount. She turned out to be someone who kept their word. For about 2 years after her little announcement, she stuck firmly to what she had said about not coming over and not inviting me to their place.
Mom, it's me.
Oh, hi, Dan. I hope the traffic wasn't too bad getting here. Have you had dinner?
No, I haven't. When Jenny found out that I was coming to see you, she got really mad and pretty much chucked me out of the door. I did plan to have a cup of noodle or something before I left, but she threw me out before I could make it.
Oh, I thought that might be the case, so I got a little something ready for you.
A little something? This is more than a little something, it's amazing. Oh, you are such a great cook, Mom. I really miss your cooking.
You're my boy. Of course I'll make a fuss over you when I know that you're coming to visit. I don't really bother making things like this now that you and your brother have moved out, you know. I do enjoy cooking, but there doesn't seem to be much point when it just means that I'll have to eat the same thing for days just to get rid of it all.
I feel quite sad again listening to you talk like that.
Why? Has Jenny said something again?
Well, nothing more than usual. It's always the same. If I ask her to come and see you with me, she just goes off about you wanting to use her, and that daughter-in-law should be treated like guests, that she doesn't want to come and see you just to be nagged about everything. You know, stuff like that. Even if she has nothing to do on her own at home, she never thinks of coming here to see you.
She seems like a typical old-fashioned person to me. Who orders their daughter-in-law around like that in this day and age? I can do such a better job and faster. Why would I get her to do it for me? It doesn't even make sense to me, you know?
That's true as well, but I don't know when she thinks she's heard you nag her like she says. You don't even nag me. You didn't when I was younger either. You just aren't that sort of person. I don't know who she's talking to or where she's getting these ridiculous ideas from. I really don't. She definitely wasn't like this before we got married, that's for sure. Something seems to have happened to her since we got married. She seems different.
Just leave it. It's not worth the aggro. She told me in no uncertain terms that I didn't contribute to your wedding, that she wasn't going to come and see me or invite me to your place, and that's exactly what she is doing, isn't it? How do you know that she wasn't that type of person all along? She could have just been hiding it from you.
Even when I tell her that you aren't that kind of person, she doesn't listen. It seems like she's imagined it in her head. My mother-in-law is a bad person. Well, that's what it feels like to me anyway.
Well, if that's the way she wants our relationship to stay, I guess that's her business. She can think of herself as a special guest if that's what she wants, but to be honest, I don't want to invite any guests over. I can't stand having guests in my house. Never could.
You really are something too, Mom. I don't know whether to call it spiteful or just laid back or what, really. If it was any other family, there would have been hell to pay for talking to you like that, and for her not going to visit her mother-in-law for over 2 years after getting married.
I think that families willing to make such a fuss over something like that are the strange ones, you know? I don't see how they think it's so important to have their daughter-in-law visiting and helping all the time and things like that. I just don't understand. Trying to hold on to someone who doesn't even like me just seems like a waste of energy to me, you know? I'm fine with just meeting people who want to meet me. I don't really need to see a daughter-in-law who tells me that she's scary and thinks that I'm the worst in the world for no particular reason. I just don't want to waste my energy on her, that's all.
You might be my mom, but geez, you are scary sometimes. Mom, how much food did you make? You didn't have to make that much just for me. I'll have to take some home with me this time, I think. It is amazing, Mom. Thank you so much.
Jenny asked you to bring some food back with you, didn't she?
Of course she did. She always expects you to make enough food for her too, for some reason.
She is funny, you know. She flat out refuses to come and see me, but she asks you to bring food that I've made back for her every time you come and see me. Didn't you say that the two of you had a huge fight last holidays because you didn't bring any food back with you?
Yeah, she went on about you looking down on her and all of that nonsense again. She told me to hurry up and give her the food, and then got in a big strop when I didn't. If I don't want to feel her wrath this time, I'd better take some food home with me.
Go on then, it's no problem. Well, I've got the rest of the food in containers over there, so you can take those back with you. Don't take the stuff you've already started eating. You can finish off the stuff I've put on the table for you.
What? Why are you letting me take all of that food back to her? She doesn't do anything at all for you.
Do you think I'm letting you take all of that food because I like Jenny? No, of course I'm not. If I send you back with things that you've been eating, she'd go on about me looking down on her and stuff again, wouldn't she? I think it's just easier for everyone if I make a bit extra so you can take it back with you. Saves a lot of fuss, doesn't it? I don't want her to get mad at you over things like this. She must be hard enough to live with as it is without me making things even worse.
See, that's a really good attitude for people to have, but Jen doesn't seem to understand that. I wish she was a bit more thoughtful sometimes, you know?
I guess she just doesn't think. There are a lot of people like that.
Mom, are you busy?
No, not really. I was just having a look at how my investments are doing, that's all. Why? Is anything the matter?
Oh, I just wanted to tell you that you are going to be a grandmother.
Oh, really? That's great. I guess you had enough time to get everything sorted. It seems like Jenny has been off work for ages. It's lucky that she at least got pregnant quickly.
Oh, yeah, it's been quite a time. She's already going on about you not giving us any help, even though she was getting ready to get pregnant, and what an awful mother-in-law you are. You don't know how many times I've had to listen to that in the last few months. I really don't understand why you should make up for her wages when she's the one that decided to quit her job. Why should you? I just don't understand it. It's not like I'm earning enough for both of us anyway.
Don't even try to understand her. There's no point. It'll just give you a headache, that's all. Is that how you ended it, then? I guess when she's full term, I'll be the terrible mother-in-law who hasn't given her enough presents or something like that. I can't win whatever I do.
What? Do you really think that's what will happen?
It's exactly something that someone like her would come out with. I know it seems ridiculous that a daughter-in-law who hasn't had any contact at all with her mother-in-law for over 2 years gets mad about said mother-in-law not getting her a present to congratulate her on her pregnancy, but I can just see it happening.
I'm afraid to say that I think you're probably right. I can't tell you any different.
Anyway, I've transferred $10,000 to your account. Buy her some pregnancy vitamins or something that she needs with it for me, would you?
What, $10,000? Why have you sent so much?
I have plenty of money and I'm still able to make more. Why wouldn't I send that much? I'd rather just give it to you than cause more fuss by not, if you get what I mean. If she causes a fuss even though I've given her money, I think I'd at least have something to say later if I ever get really angry with her.
Even so, I bet you're the only mother-in-law in the world who would give their daughter-in-law $10,000, even though she hates her. She has to at least admit that you're not cheap.
To be honest, I don't like her or hate her. I'm beginning to even forget what she looks like. How can I possibly have any feelings like that about her? She's just no one, that's all. I just see it as giving money to my son and my future grandson rather than giving it to my daughter-in-law. She's pregnant with my first grandson. Any mom would do the same.
Mom, thank you.
If there's anything you still need when it's near his due date, let me know, okay? I'll make sure to get that for you as well. Even high chairs and car seats are really expensive these days, I've heard. Don't go buying anything like that. Just let me know what you need. My friend runs a store that sells baby products, so I can get you a really good brand.
I wish Jen could see this side of you, you know? You really are so kind and generous. I don't know why she has such a bad opinion of you when you're so lovely.
If you just want another argument with her sometimes, you could bring it up, I guess. I don't really care what she thinks of me, to be honest. I just want your married life to go smoothly, that's all. I stayed away from Jenny right up until she gave birth to my grandson. I mean, it's not like she'd have anything nice to say to me, even if I did go to visit her, so why bother? I knew that if I went to see her, she'd just end up getting mad and might end up not letting me see my grandson at all. Apparently, she went mad once in the hospital as well. I don't know what it was about, really, but knowing her, it could have been about anything. I think that I'm probably the only grandmother in the world that has only seen her first grandson in photos, despite him living so close to me. However, seeing him in person didn't really seem urgent to me. I could think that he looked like my son or whatever in photos as well, and that was enough for me for the time being. Do you think that makes me seem heartless? When I asked that question to my friends and people around me, they nodded their heads. They said that I was something for not being desperate to see my first grandson. They say that there are a lot of mother-in-laws whose daughter-in-laws ban them from seeing their grandchildren, you know. I guess it's not only Jenny who thinks that daughter-in-laws these days are scary after all. However, not all daughter-in-laws totally ignore their in-laws and their duties like Jenny does.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Brown. It's very nice to meet you at long last. I'm Jane.
Oh, it's very nice to meet you, Jane. You can call me Mom. You're going to be family soon after all. Come in, come in. Denny just suddenly told me that he's going to bring you over to meet me, so I didn't even have time to tidy up properly. Denny has made your first impression of me to be not as good as I would have liked, that silly boy.
Ow, Mom, don't pinch me, that hurts.
To be honest, I thought we were just going on a normal date as well. I guess that Denny must have suddenly plucked up the courage to introduce us or something. If I knew that we were coming to meet you, I'd have made a bit more effort with my appearance and brought you some flowers or something. I'm really sorry that I haven't brought you anything, Mom.
I thought our wedding would just get put back more and more if the two of you didn't meet soon, so I just decided that I was going to introduce the two of you today. I just suddenly brought Jane here instead of us going out on a normal date. I did well, didn't I, Mom?
Hey, even if you didn't tell Jane beforehand for whatever reason, you should have told me in advance, surely. If I knew that I'd have such an important guest, I'd have tidied up and cleaned a bit.
No, you don't need to bother with things like that for me. The house is really nice and perfectly clean anyway.
Thank you very much for saying that to me. I should have at least got something ready for dinner, but I really didn't expect guests, so I'll get you some fruit or something instead, if you just give me a few minutes. Do you like citrons?
They're a bit like oranges, aren't they? I like oranges, but to tell the truth, I've never tried a citron before.
Oh, really? It's quite similar to an orange, really. All the variations are quite similar. They're sweet and sour, so I think you'll like them. I'll give you one. Give it a try and let me know what you think of it.
Thank you, Mom. Wow, these are delicious.
Oh, really? I'm glad you like it. It's nice to see that you enjoy fruit.
Mom, can you bring me one too?
You can get your own fruit, Denny. It's not exactly hard, is it? Would you like me to get you another, Jane? I'll put some here for you. Take as many as you want.
Thank you, Mom. You don't have to talk quite so politely to me, Mom. It's fine for you to just talk normally.
Okay, thanks, I will. How did the two of you meet, anyway? My two silly boys have never told me anything about any relationships that they've been in or anything like that, you know. I'd like to know a bit more about you. How you met, how long you've been dating, things like that.
Oh, I see.
Well, to tell you the truth, Jane's grandmother is one of my patients at the hospital. She's still undergoing treatment there, but just as an outpatient now.
What? Oh, if she's one of your patients, I guess that she has back problems. Am I right?
Yes, it is. My parents aren't around anymore, you see, so my grandmother worked in a factory and brought me up alone. I said that I wouldn't go to college and get a job to help her out instead, but she was having none of it and kept working all hours of the day at the factory to pay for it all and ended up hurting her back.
Anyway, her grandmother ended up being admitted into our hospital. Jane took time out from college and has been in the hospital looking after her grandmother every day. It's very hard work looking after someone with back problems, you know, as they find it hard to get up and move around, so it takes a lot of strength and energy, but Jane did it from morning to night, every day without fail. I was really impressed by her love and care, and thought that she was pretty as well, and this is what it led to, I guess.
You must really love your grandmother to look after her like that all day, every day. Looking after someone with back problems is no easy task. And what did you think of Denny?
To start with, I did wonder why this young doctor was taking such an interest in me. I tried to keep a bit of distance between the two of us, but Denny started bringing me drinks and taking a special interest in my grandmother's care as well. In the end, I wasn't able to resist him.
Oh, I see. Denny always was persistent. That's probably his only strength, the big oaf. This time it seems to have paid off. You did well, Denny.
Thanks to Denny's care and attention, my grandmother's back is much better now as well. She won't be able to work any longer, though. I guess you might not like my family situation or my background.
Why do you think I wouldn't like that? It's only natural for you to love the person who brought you up, and she's obviously done her utmost to make sure that you didn't miss out growing up. What isn't there to like? I haven't said that you shouldn't look after your grandmother or anything like that now, have I?
Mom, you've been so sweet to accept me like this.
On the contrary, I think it's a good match. My Denny is a doctor specializing in back injuries, isn't he? It'll be good for you to have a doctor for a husband. He can take your grandmother to the hospital for tests and whatever, and make sure that she gets the best medicine as well. Things like that. Isn't that the whole reason that you're thinking of marrying my son?
Mom, why do you always make it sound like being a doctor is the only thing that I have going for me or something?
It's true, isn't it, you big oaf? You aren't particularly good-looking or bright, are you? It's lucky that you're a doctor. At least you have that going for you. I'm right, aren't I, Jane?
Oh, well...
Are you sure that you're going to be okay marrying someone like him?
Mom!
Mom, it's me.
Oh, hello, Jane. How did your tour of the house go? Was it any good?
Yes, it was lovely. But why have you chosen such an expensive apartment for us? It must be really expensive.
Well, I can afford it, so why wouldn't I? Don't you like it? If you don't, we could always have a look at somewhere else. Is it a bit close to my place?
No, it's nothing like that. It's perfect. I just said that because the apartment just seems too good and expensive, that's all. I never even dreamed of living somewhere as good as that. I know how expensive this neighborhood is as well. They said they were going to modify it for my grandmother as well. I told them they didn't need to bother, but they were having none of it.
If you're going to be living with your grandmother, it's only right that it's comfortable and convenient for her to move around with as well, don't you think? When you start going to college again and to work, your grandmother will be alone in the apartment during the day. Even though you said she's much better now, it's good to make sure that it's safe and easy for her to move around in, isn't it? If the place isn't adapted, it's really easier for older people to fall or get hurt. I see it all the time, you know. One of the reasons I thought of that place was that if your grandmother happened to be sick or anything, I could easily go check up on her during the day when there was no one at home. I'm at home during the day, as you know.
If it wasn't for you, Mom, I don't know what I would have done. You've paid for our wedding, got us a house. You even take care of my grandmother and have paid my college fees so that I can carry on with my education. You've been amazing, and I'm so grateful for everything that you have done for us. I hope you know that.
Well, seeing as I can afford all of these things, it's only right that I do them for you, don't you think? You're like a daughter to me. It's only right that I help out however I can. My oaf of a son has helped with the wedding as well with his savings, hasn't he? I've only paid for my share of it, so you don't have to feel burdened by it or anything like that.
Mom?
Oh, you aren't busy today, are you?
No, I'm not. I have a free period today, so I have a lot more time than usual.
Would you like to come shopping with me, then? We need to get you some jewelry for the wedding, and we need to pick up your grandmother's outfit, too. I got a message this morning saying that it was ready to pick up, so I'd better go and get it.
Pardon? Jewelry? I think you've done enough for me already. I don't need anything else. And when did you get an outfit for my grandmother? The two of you must have gone out together sometime without me knowing.
Hurry up and get ready. Let's go.
Okay, Mom.
I must admit, I did wonder what I would do if Jane was the same breed as Jenny. Before she married Dan, Jenny was perfectly nice and friendly toward me as well, you see. I was a bit worried whether Jane would show her true colors after the wedding like Jenny did. Fortunately, unlike Jenny, Jane was a good-natured, kind soul, so I was soon able to relax. I don't know whether it was because she was raised by her grandmother, but she was a kind, gentle soul. She called me Mom, listened well, and did what I asked as well. How couldn't I fall for someone as sweet and kind as her? I'm the type of person who can appear cold to people who have turned their backs on me, but do everything I can to help people who are also good to me. This is why I paid for Denny and Jane's wedding and agreed to get them an apartment as well. I know that, especially being a doctor, there would be a lot of wedding guests on Denny's side, but I guess only a few friends would be attending from Jane's side. Even though she is a student, it's understandable that she wouldn't have many guests, seeing as she has no family, so to speak. That's why in the end we decided to have the wedding as more of a party between Denny, Jane, and their friends rather than a more traditional wedding ceremony. We heartily invited many guests and borrowed one of my friend's summer houses, which had a pool, and had the reception there. I agreed to have a meal with a few older guests after the actual ceremony as well. As it is, after all their day, I thought it would be good if it was more enjoyable for them. I also booked a hotel spa for Jane's grandmother and myself, and made it so that Denny, Jane, and their friends could stay in the pool villa all night. It ended up being quite expensive, but it wasn't a problem for me. I got quite a big inheritance from my parents and also have the investments that I have made more recently. Those investments meant that I was actually making more than my 2 sons put together. Oh, I've got so much to book and sort out. Maybe it would have been easier to have just a wedding package after all. As I'm trying to book all the catering and everything separately myself, I'm a lot busier than I thought I'd be. Hang on. I only put my phone down for a few minutes. How do I have so many missed calls? Hello?
Mom, I heard that Denny is getting married tomorrow.
Oh, it's you. Do you think it's polite to just shout at me like that without even first telling me who it is that's calling first? You really make me jump, you know.
Don't change the subject, Mom. I heard that Denny's getting married tomorrow, right? Why didn't you tell me?
She's still the same as she's always been, I see. No manners, no thought for anyone but herself. Didn't your husband tell you that his little brother was getting married tomorrow? It's not like the 2 of us have ever actually spoken to each other. How do you expect me to have told you anyway?
Dan told me this morning. He said that they were having a small wedding, so that they were hiring a pool villa or something like that.
Yes, that's what they've decided to do. They aren't having a proper ceremony as such. They're just having a small thing with a few of Denny's friends and a few of his new wife's friends, that's all. Why have you called me, and why are you so interested in my family's affairs anyway?
A small wedding? Really? Being a doctor and throwing money around after him like you do, I thought it would have been more of a thing, that's all. It's all turned to nothing, I see.
What do you mean?
Well, when Dan and I got married, you didn't give us a dime and decided to use the money on Denny's tuition fees instead, didn't you? In the end, it was all a waste of time, I guess. I've heard that his wife-to-be is an orphan with nothing to her name as well. It seems like she's a good match for him, as they say, birds of a feather flock together.
Oh, that's why you called, is it? To taunt me?
Well, not really. I was going to tell you that I was mad because the wedding is tomorrow, so I don't have time to prepare for it properly as you didn't tell me earlier. But as they're having a small wedding, I guess I have nothing to prepare for anyway. I guess as it's nothing special, I can just wear everyday clothes there, can't I?
Do what you like. I don't actually remember inviting you, but do what you want. It doesn't make any difference to me. Oh, Jane, you look amazing. Really beautiful. I think you look even more beautiful in it now than you did on the day we went to choose it.
I didn't have full makeup on that day, did I? I guess it's because I have full wedding makeup on now.
I think that maybe it's because you're outside in natural lighting. Even though it was more expensive, I think it was a good move to choose something a bit more fancy like this one. You look amazing, Jane.
When my friends saw me just before, they said that they didn't think it was really me.
Have you taken a lot of photos? You'd better make sure that you take lots of photos with all of your friends.
They all took photos with me, and have now gone to take photos of themselves in the different photo zones. They said that you ordered dressers for them all as well because you thought that they were too young to own dresses like that. They were all so excited about it. They said that it was the first time that they've ever worn anything like it. They're making the most of their beautiful dresses in the photo zones, I think. They said that they'll come over and thank you personally a bit later.
Oh, really? They don't need to thank me. It's fine. I'm just happy that you can all have a great time partying in such glamorous clothes. That's enough for me to see you all enjoying yourself. You're going to have the reception in the swimming pool, so I hope you all have your swimming costumes.
It seems as though my friends have been dieting for exactly that. The costume that we bought together fits me amazingly now as well.
That's great. I'll just show your grandmother to her seat and go and meet some of the guests for a minute, okay?
Yes, Mom, thanks. Mom!
Oh, it's you. You made me jump. You actually came then, did you? I really thought that you were joking when you said that you'd come, you know.
It's a huge family occasion. How could I not be here? What is all of this anyway? I thought you said that it was going to be a small wedding.
That's right, it is a small wedding. We've only invited, 20, 30 people? With that number of guests, it is a small wedding, don't you agree?
Don't be ridiculous! How can this possibly count as a small wedding? It's outside, you have catering. No matter how many people you have invited, this wedding is probably even more expensive than a normal traditional wedding.
Well, I guess it did cost quite a lot of money, yes. It's my friend's villa, but we borrowed the whole thing. And the catering. I tried lots of different places before deciding on the perfect one. I chose the one with the best quality, most delicious food, so that wasn't exactly cheap either. We're having a small ceremony during the morning and having a pool party reception way into the night, so I had to hire everything for the whole day as well, so that was pretty expensive.
How did Denny afford all of this? Where did he find the money for such an expensive wedding? Even though he is a doctor, this is really something else.
What does being a doctor have to do with having a party wedding like this? I don't really understand the connection. Denny used the money that he'd saved up to pay for some of it, but the rest I paid for myself.
What? When we got married, you didn't even give us a dime. How could you possibly pay for such an extravagant wedding for Denny? That's not fair. It's discrimination. How dare you only give money to your doctor's son and just leave my poor Dan with nothing? You've never given us a dime.
Ah, I have thought this for a while now, but you really do have an inferiority complex, don't you?
What did you just say to me?
Discrimination, you say. Did your husband not tell you anything? I only didn't help to pay for your wedding because Dan told me that you had enough money saved up between the two of you, that you had already managed to get everything you needed within your budget, and that the two of you had agreed that you were going to start your married life without help from either set of parents. I had the money ready to give him, but he flat out refused it. You were both already making a good wage. That's what I was told. Jane, on the other hand, has no parents and is still a student, so she has no savings, so to speak, so I said that I'd help out. Denny used all of his savings, and I sorted out the difference. I used my money to pay for Jane's half of the wedding instead of her parents. How on earth can you call that discrimination?
Discrimination is exactly what it is. You didn't give us a dime when we got married, and you never even gave me a present when I had my son, your first grandchild.
I really can't take any more of your nonsense. Who do you think bought you that stroller that you're pushing your precious son around in right now? It was me, that's who. And the vitamins and food that Dan gave you when you were pregnant, and your cot, and most of your baby stuff, to tell you the truth. I bought the lot of it.
Excuse me? What did you just say?
Dan said that you don't have any friends because you have such an awful personality, so you probably wouldn't be getting many presents for the baby. I thought that I'd help out and get you everything that you'd need, you see. I thought you would have realized where it all came from by now, but you're still going on about discrimination and me not giving you anything like a spoiled little child.
Dan just said that he got given those things as a present.
We knew that if he said that you'd got them from me, you'd be rude and get mad about the prices or brand or whatever. So we thought it would be easier to just not tell you exactly where they had all come from. Have you quite finished now?
You're lying. I don't believe anything you've just told me. How do you have that kind of money? How could someone like you possibly afford to buy all of that stuff? There must have been over $10,000 worth of stuff there altogether. You're just lying that you got it all for us so the people around you don't think badly of you for not giving us anything again, aren't you? I think this wedding is the same. You must have either borrowed the money from somewhere or else Denny must have paid for it himself.
Who exactly told you that I didn't have money?
Excuse me?
I have plenty of money, you know. To be honest, I bet that I earn more money in a year than you've earned in your whole life. I have a lot of money and assets, too. I have buildings, investments, you name it, I've got it. When you got married, I was going to give you $50,000 towards a house, but Dan wouldn't accept it and told me that you didn't need it. That's why I didn't end up giving you anything. Do you understand now? If I put my mind to it, I could have paid for the wedding, the house, everything. There's nothing that I couldn't do, money-wise, that is.
Well, you should have said something before then, shouldn't you? I had no idea. No one told me.
Oh, and what would you have done with that information, my lifelong guest of a daughter-in-law? I don't want guests in my home, and I don't want to have to run around after you either.
What about Jane, then? She's your daughter-in-law as well, isn't she?
Oh, Jane. She's not my daughter-in-law. She's like my real daughter. She likes to spend time with me and even helps out around the house if I ask her to. I've only known her for a few months, and she's more of a daughter to me than you'll ever be.
I don't believe it! She must be as sly as a fox.
Anyway, I've got to get back to my daughter's wedding, so I'll see you. You can go now. Get out of my way, would you? After finding out about my wealth at Denny and Jane's wedding, Jenny started calling me, asking if I wanted to meet my grandson. I guess she was trying to deceive me in some way, but who knows? I first got a glimpse of him at the wedding, but he just seemed like someone else's child to me. I didn't really even feel anything for him, even when I did see him, so I'm just carrying on as I did before. Jane graduated from college and has got a great job, so the two of them are making a good living. The two of them are living in their newly adapted apartment with Jane's grandmother, and we see each other almost daily. Her grandmother turned out to be a very active person, and the two of us are enjoying hobbies together. We're currently into spa massages, so whenever we find out about a good massage shop, Jane, her grandmother, and I go to check them out together. My new daughter is, of course, better than any son or daughter-in-law could possibly be.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to see more content.